Welcome to Leadership Sovereignty. I'm your host, Terry Baylor, along with Ralph Owens. Today, we'll answer questions how your accuser is positioning themselves as your rescuer, how the rescuer's goal is to take away your power, how the challenger encourages the creator to use their own self-power, and how the root of the challenger is love. Enjoy the show. Ralph, I was thinking about this, man. And and I don't spend a whole lot of time talking about this dude because he ain't got no power. But one of the things we have to understand, what he's constantly doing is accusing. He's always saying what you're not. He's always saying what you can't achieve. He always saying who's better than you. He always trying to point out your, the things where you lack. Never is there anything said about what you've achieved. At the root of all of this, there is somebody trying to blame you.
Yeah. Trying to make you feel like a victim. Yeah.
That's exactly. So, guys, at the root of this stuff, man, we don't get too deep into it, but these are all spiritual concepts, man.
Yeah,
hey,
that's right. And think about that for a quick moment, just to touch on that, right? When a person comes in, because I think in that role, Terry, what you just said, the example you just gave, that person is trying to be your rescuer, right? Because they're trying to make you see how powerless you are. And I'm going to be the one to give you that power so I can leverage you, right, to doing something that I want you to do. You can see it all around you. You can see it all around you. I'm your rescuer. Things are not going to be good until I get what I want, because you don't have this and you don't have that and you don't have this and you don't have that. Right?
Wow. Man, I had a conversation like that the other day. And I was really analyzing it going, what is the real intent of this conversation? Wow. Well, you just showed me something.
Yeah, it's deep because it's everywhere around us. Somebody fits in one of those three categories, right? And that rescue is a dangerous thing, man, because I think I mentioned it earlier in the show. A rescuer's whole purpose is to take the victim's power away so that they can leverage them. Think about that, man. That could be a political party. Right? I'm just saying.
Yes.
They want to take your power away and make you dependent upon them to give you something.
Wow.
So they can keep you powerless.
Wow.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. But creator, I am a creator. Say it after me. I am creator.
A creator.
I create my own situations.
I create my own situations.
And I am not a victim.
All right.
That's
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Ralph, that's amazing.
Let's hit this next one. So we talked about the antidote to the victim. Now let's talk about the antidote to the persecutor. So remember, a persecutor must have a victim. It's looking to punish and is looking to take the power away from a victim. Whereas the challenger challenges the creator to use their power. Right? So the challenger's not trying to take power away, but they're trying to challenge the creator to use their own self-power. And the beauty in that is it brings clarity to the creator on what it is they say they think they want. Right? So a challenge is going to ask you those great questions. I love that example that you gave, Terry, in this episode about asking those questions to that person. I think the situation was they said that I can be accountable to myself. And you were like, maybe. Right? But let me ask you a few questions. But you said you wanted to do this, but you didn't do that. You said you wanted to do this, but you didn't do that. And in that moment, that person gained clarity because you said they thought about it and they came back and said, you know what? You're right. By you challenging them with the right questions and not trying to persecute them for not doing this and not doing that, you allowed them to gain clarity in that moment, which allowed them to use their power to get what they wanted. Right? So that's what that challenger does. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Terry? Because I think you're one of the best challengers I've ever met.
I think challenging is a root of love, man. And so, and I'm a I'm a tell a real life situation. And because man, my wife been using Jedi mind tricks on me, man. She been listening to the show, man. So me and Noah out the other day, and so we're golfing, and
Mhm,
so I'm like, hey, we're gonna take this line, do this, boom, boom, boom. Here's your target, and he does something different. I'm like, son, what are you thinking? I'm just trying to get into his mindset. Why did you take that line versus you took a more aggressive line, which introduces. So golfers would understand that a more aggressive line that's going to bring in danger.
mhm,
I said, but if you don't want to, you know, have me kind of caddy today, I'll let you play on your own. So he made the decision, to play on his own, and I'm seeing ball after ball. I'm like, why is he taking these aggressive lines? So I
mhm,
called Shamika, right?
mhm.
And so she be listening to like the same episode 2 or 3 times. So she digging out all the gold, all the treasure. She get
Mhm.
all the treasure out of these. And she hits me with, she said, well, babe, why don't you know, she asked me a question. Well, have you considered doing what God does with us? He allows us to make the decision and see the outcome of it
Mhm,
and allow him to understand the consequence of the decisions he's made.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Begrudgingly, I was like, yeah, babe, you're right. That
That's
question, I
good.
mean, what was I gonna say?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
She put the jet out on you.
But listen, when you but the thing is, man, it was done in such um
Mm,
just a
mhm,
tone of love, right?
mhm,
Because here's the thing, we can, and again, I'm being transparent here, right? After about hole number 9, I went to know, I'm like, so you ready for some advice?
mhm,
Now, was that a question in a I'm being transparent here. Was
mhm,
that a question in a challenger's voice?
mhm.
Or was that a question in a rescuer or
Persecutor. Yeah,
persecutor voice?
yeah, yeah,
You see what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you just really you just opened my mind to something too, because you're right. Um, God will tell us to do something, and then we don't do it, and He allow us to experience it, right? And in that moment, I can understand why you may have been frustrated, because it's like, I'm trying to tell you something to save you from going through all of this. But yet, okay, if you need to see it, you need to see it, right? But just like God is compassionate and he's patient with us, to your point in asking that question, it was a question, but from what persona was it being asked
Exactly.
from?
From what persona? That is so true.
Yeah, yeah, because we
Yeah,
we can we can get into the semantics of this thing. Well, I asked the question,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. But what tone? What
Yes.
tone? So that night, right? And I always think over my day. We've always talked about this, right? I
Mhm.
play my days back. I play the
Yeah.
day back through and work it out. We have to be retrospective, right? Because this is how one of the tools of, and guys, please take note of this. One of the tools of growth is retrospection, right?
Yes.
You have
Yes.
to, or we all have to get some quiet points in our day where
Mhm.
we can sit back and think about what transpired in my
Mhm.
day,
Mhm.
right?
Intentional quiet points, not
Yes.
if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it
Yeah,
doesn't. No, it's
correct.
planned time. Yeah.
So that morning, I went up to Noah. He was in his bed. I was like, hey, bro, I wasn't the best version of myself yesterday, man. So I apologize to you.
Mm. That's so powerful.
And he was like, Dad, I understand. I said, so next time we go out, we're gonna go and do it this way. I'm gonna ask questions this way. And still, it's your
Mhm.
call on
Mhm.
what how we transpire, right? Because
Mhm.
this is, again, just like it's our life, right?
Mhm.
God lets us choose. In one way, I heard it said too, which is one of the most beautiful ways I've heard it. God's love for us in allowing us to make our choice,
Mhm.
his protection, this was so great. His protection is how far he will let the consequence go, or how
Mm.
deep he will let the consequence be.
That's good. That's
You see what I'm
good.
saying?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so, but yeah, man, so that we have to all daily, on this journey.
Mhm.
And but Ralph, I love that about the challenger, and you know, uh, being the challenger and
Mhm.
allowing ourselves to be challenged. It's it's
Yeah.
it's 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 it's, it's so critical. Thank you for being with us today on Leadership Sovereignty. Stay connected with us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Instagram by searching for Leadership Sovereignty. And just like this podcast, let's all collectively grow as we go. God bless.